What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I would like to welcome you all to another edition of Wayne's Perspective, where we operate in discipline, decency, integrity, and respect. And I'm coming through with another video just for you. Before I get started, like I always do, I hope everyone is doing okay out there, taking every day one day at a time, living life the best way you know how. As for me, y'all know how I do over here in the 804. I'm also taking every day one day at a time, living life the best way I know how as well. Before I get into the video, I want to mention a few things. This may not be a long video, but I still have a lot to say. My original plans for the video were going to focus 100% on the ladies, but after thinking about it for a bit, I decided that there are some things that the fellas need to hear too. I'm 42 years old. I've been in a relationship now for 3.5 years, and there's no doubt in my mind that I'm marrying my lady. I'd be a fool to not put a ring on her finger, and to say that I've finally found my person would be an understatement. Also, in these 42 years, I can't say that I've seen it all, but I've seen enough things that have allowed me to approach life very differently now than I did between the ages of 19 and 39, and I plan to highlight some of those lessons in this video. And lastly, one of the reasons I'm doing this video is due to some recent story time videos I've been listening to by a content creator by the name of Tisha Nicole. Shout out to her. Go follow her and check out her videos as well. She not only talked about marrying a man that wasn't her husband and holding herself accountable for this decision. Notably, she wasn't feeling him at first, but somewhere along the way decided to oblige him and go from there, ignoring the red flags in the process. And while I appreciate this level of transparency showed in her videos, line of thinking that I tend to have serious issues with, not Tisha, just wanted to make that clear as I continue. I also have some personal details I could include for additional context, but for obvious reasons, I won't make those things public. And this right here is a solid segue into the video. Food for thought, ladies and the fellas, grab a plate. Red flags. This is the period where we find ourselves making decisions against our better judgment. I want to direct this to the fellas too, however, I'm placing an additional emphasis on this for the ladies. Ladies, listen to me carefully. Please do not ignore red flags. I'm going to repeat, do not ignore red flags. If you never gave a certain guy the time of day in a previous lifetime, there's a reason for that. Don't ignore it. You're not doing yourself a disservice if you bypass his advances. And like I always say, stepping out of your comfort zone does not apply to everything, especially when it comes to someone you're going to be potentially dating. And I would also say, beware of the wolves in sheep's clothing. And before I continue on, let me tell a little story. I'm going to go back in time here, back to my middle school and high school days, even going back as far as the sixth grade. I was 11 when I entered the sixth grade. Now, I remember at this time, and I'm sure other cats who went to school with me probably can vouch for me as well, because they probably have some similar stories too. There were some girls that we found ourselves liking at the time that may have been our age or a little bit older, but for whatever reason, they would always turn us down, be on some hey little boy type energy and things like that. They would never look our way and always want to put us in the friend zone. But when it come to other cats who had nothing going for themselves, they would be so quick to gravitate towards them dudes. Now tell me this, y'all. Guys who were older but cut up in class, when they decided to show up to class, they cut class often. They got into fights. They were either in school suspension or out of school suspension. And like I said a few moments ago, they had nothing going for themselves. They could barely read or write, you name it. Tell me how dudes like that, also being 16 or 17 in the sixth grade, were the most popular guys in school at the time. Can somebody explain that to me? And my thinking, even as a young boy at that time, about to enter into my teenage years, I always wondered why the hell that was. And my thinking at the time was on some, if you want those guys, you can have them. I'm not going to extend myself or work myself to death to get you to notice me when you clearly looking the other way. So I thought that long ago. If you want them, you can have them. But when they dog you and do everything else under the sun, don't come running back to me and all of the other good dudes out there who had a good thing for you and would have done right by you, but instead you decided to go the other route. So I just wanted to share that story before I continue on. Allow me to talk about the pursuit. It gets under my skin to no end when a man pursues a woman, sometimes relentlessly, and when she gives him the time of day, even against her better judgment, he turns around and does dirt and more. And listen, I don't want to hear there's two sides to every story. While that may be true in some cases, I'm not buying it as an excuse here. And in addition to that, If a man doesn't make his intentions clear, such as one, a long-term relationship, marriage, or something that offers consistency, stability, security, you name it, chances are all he wants to do is smash. And I'm just keeping it real with y'all here. Now, 10 out of, no, 2 out of 10 men will be upfront with this, but the others won't tell you this because probably they know what the response will be. Being honest is one thing, but most self-respecting women will look the other way if the only reason you're pursuing her is to sleep with her and nothing else. Rightly so. And this takes me to another story that I want to share. Back in the day, have I pursued a couple of ladies? Yes. I mean, I'm pretty sure most of the fellas listening to this can testify to that too. But you only had one time to reject me. That was it. I was not going to pursue you. Once you said no or rejected me or said thanks but no thanks or anything in between, I was done. Now, have there been instances where I tried maybe a second or third time? Yeah, I did. And again, most of the fellas listening to this, I'm sure y'all can testify to that too. But make no mistake about it. You had but one time to reject me, and that was it. I move on. I'm not going to keep coming after you and keep trying to holler at you and get at you and get at you and get at you when you made it clear that you're not interested. I'm just not doing that. And with all due respect, ladies, no woman out there is worth all that trouble. Just not. I just wanted to share that as well. Ladies, you have to be able to tell the difference between what's love bombing and what's not. It may be easier said than done, but it can be done. And one more thing before I move to the next part. I have much respect for our military, but don't think that the military is immune from producing ain't shit dudes. One would think that this experience would be a humbling one for the people involved, but in some cases it isn't. So try not to think that just because a man has a military background that this makes him an automatic stand-up guy. It doesn't. Next section would be yellow flags, and this would be the period where we proceed right on through when it's clear we should have taken a detour or an alternative route. Ladies, men who are locked up, fresh out of prison, in and out of prison, have a history of abusing women, have a bad reputation, have drug problems, a criminal background, are deadbeat dads, and have been warned by others to stay away from, I'm telling you, avoid these individuals like the plague and don't look back. There's nothing, and I mean nothing, appealing about bringing a criminal or a manipulator or an abuser into your life, especially if you have children. And by the way, I have no love for abusers, none. They'll never get any grace from me, never. And you want to talk about value, a criminal, manipulator, or an abuser will not add any of it to your life, none whatsoever. None of us should be putting our hands on each other to begin with, but when women are abused at the hands of a man, I always have tons of issues with that. And another thing, ladies, please stop trying to get with a man solely for financial reasons. Men in general don't play about their money, justifiably so. And if there's even the slightest hint that you're doing this, the results will not be favorable. And that short-term financial fix is not worth the long-term pain and inevitable karma that it's going to bring. Remember that. And next up, procreation. Now talk about a word that you don't hear every day. Procreation. Fellas, can we be less reckless and more responsible here? Trust me, and I'm being blunt on this one. I know what a condom does and the feeling that's taken away in the process. However, we need to put an end to being there for the fun and games in the bedroom, but when the woman gets pregnant, that's when shit gets real and you disappear from the scene. And I don't want to hear, well, she was toxic anyway. Then don't get her pregnant then. It's that simple. And ladies, coming back to y'all, stop having babies with toxic ain't shit dudes thinking that a baby is going to change them. It won't. And it's not a flex at all to say that the father of your child is a hood dude. And let's keep it clear. Dudes like that do not have a good track record of being active fathers. We just need to return to a point where having kids means something and people aren't just having them because it's the thing to do. Having a child and caring for it and providing for it is not easy as it may seem. And believe me, I'm speaking from the perspective of a father, okay? And last but not least, green flags. And this is the part where everything comes full circle, if you will. I know that grown people are going to do what grown people do, yet we just need to start making improvements across the board and make better, logical, meaningful decisions, especially as we get older. And right there, that's why in this video, I made all my points clear. If you like what you heard or you're ready to become part of Team Discipline, go ahead and hit that like button and drop some comments if you're feeling the content. Definitely let me know where you stand on all of this, whether you agree, disagree, you're somewhere in between. Let's get a conversation started. And last but not least, hit that subscribe button along with the bell so you're notified when I drop new videos. And until next time, my people, take care of yourselves and always remember, the power of the mind is valuable.